すいません、バカなことを言いました。私は憎い。だから殺す。じゃあもしミコト、何?
Last time on Peach Boy Riverside, the hair-controlling ogre Milia was saved by the Peach Boy Mikoto, and she awoke in a village. At the start of episode 7, we cut to a horrible scene. The crew is suddenly confronted with a devastating sight. Their beloved village was reduced to ashes. Carrot gazes back in shock, and as she processes the scene, a realization dawns on her. She knows the individual responsible for this destruction. Curious, Carrot inquires if the beast Somenki was behind the attack. Sally and Frau quickly turn their heads, catching a glimpse of the menacing one-eyed creature with 2 horns. Sally directs her attention towards Somenki and boldly asks if he was the one who committed this heinous act. With a confident stride, Somenki steps forward and confesses that he was indeed involved in the destruction. However, he explains that others were sent before him and he was only helping out. Somenki goes on to explain the tragic demise of Set and how he is now next in line to finish the job. According to Somenki, he can't comprehend why it was so challenging to slaughter a single human kingdom, and he questions Carrot if she has become human. This statement instantly infuriates Carrot, and she's ready to engage in a fight with Somenki. In response, Somenki challenges her to fight like she used to before mingling with humans. However, Carrot suddenly stops and realizes that living with humans has softened her heart. She's no longer the fierce fighter she used to be. Somenki points out that she can't die with dignity at his hands. As Carrot surrenders and offers herself up to Somenki, Sally steps in to interfere. Reminding Sally of Somenki's immense power, Carrot pleads with her to reconsider. But Sally, unfazed, simply rubs her head and assures Carrot that there's no need to worry. The two of them stand their ground, facing off against Somenki. Sally turns to Frau, seeking her advice on what to do next. Frau reminds Sally of her past triumphs, including her defeat of the walrus, and boldly declares that even Somenki is no match for her. But Sally, hoping to avoid a violent confrontation, denies having any interest in fighting. Somenki, however, finds the prospect of battle thrilling and teleports in to strike Sally. Just as he's about to attack, a mysterious voice stops him in his tracks. Somenki quickly realizes that it's Sumeragi, and Carrot fears that their worst nightmare has arrived. Somenki queries why he doesn't need to assassinate the human. Frau points out that the man is conversing with an ogre. Somenki reminds Sumeragi that their directive mandates the elimination of all humans in the region. However, Sumeragi grants an exemption for Sally. Somenki presses for an explanation of the repercussions of killing Princess Sally. Sumeragi agrees to elucidate the matter and permits Somenki to teleport and return. Somenki departs the battleground, leaving Carrot to ponder the outcome if Sumeragi hadn't communicated with him. As morning breaks, Sally finds herself pondering why the perpetual conflict between monsters and human persists. Hawthorne, still reeling from the destruction of his childhood village, remains in a state of shock. Sally recognizes their urgent need for sustenance, water, and weaponry, and suggests they press onward. The crew embarks on a journey, eventually arriving at a neighboring town where they secure lodging. It is here that they encounter Mikoto, prompting Sally to make a momentous decision, to embark on a mission to educate against prejudice. As evening descends, Sally meets with Sumeragi, who reminds her of the importance of Zhendao and the need to embrace it fully. Before we continue, take a moment to answer the question of the day. Who is the coolest ogre so far? Comment down below for a chance to be shouted out. As episode 8 begins, we are brought back to Sally's difficult decision between Sumeragi and Mikoto. Both extend their hand towards Sally, leaving her uncertain of what to do. However, Sally knows that her ultimate objective is to end the ongoing conflict between humans and orcs. Without hesitation, she steps forward and chooses Mikoto as her companion. In that moment, Mikoto is taken aback as he realizes that it's his first time anyone has ever chosen him. Overwhelmed by the situation, he flees, and Sumeragi advises Sally to follow the path she had decided upon. Without second thoughts, Sally begins to pursue Mikoto. As Sally catches up with Mikoto, she takes a moment to explain her reasoning for choosing him. Mikoto, in turn, shares his deep-rooted disdain for the monsters who took his parents from him at a young age. He explains that avenging their deaths is what brings him a sense of peace. Out of nowhere, the wall surrounding the country suddenly explodes, leaving the humans bewildered and unsure of what to do. As the dust settles, two massive monsters emerge, accompanied by a monstrous flying eagle. The ogre questions the boss, asking if they should eliminate the humans, but the boss simply brushes them off, stating that there's no need to waste their energy on such insignificant beings. Todoroki suggests that creating chaos will lure out the Peach Boy. Meanwhile, inside the arena, the knights inform everyone that the tournament has been cancelled due to ongoing attacks. As Hawthorne ventures out to investigate, he discovers that the culprits behind the explosion are on the same level as Set. To his surprise, Hawthorne meets Barsus, whom he had defeated in the first round of the tournament. Barsus is impressed with Hawthorne's strength despite his slender build. Hawthorne shares that he never forgets his opponents, and the two begin walking together. Barsus admits to Hawthorne that he's on the hunt for the ogre bounty, motivated by his responsibility to provide for his family. However, Hawthorne cautions him against underestimating the strength of the ogres, reminding him that not all of them are easy prey for humans. Despite the warning, Barsus expresses his gratitude for Hawthorne's advice and praises him as a good-hearted person. With his mind set on returning to his family, Barsus begins to make his way back. But just as he's leaving, tragedy strikes. A bolt of lightning strikes him, and he is transformed into a statue of stone. In shock and confusion, Hawthorne wonders who could have been responsible for such a cruel act. Suddenly, Todoroki appears on the scene, informing Hawthorne that the attack was actually intended for two people, and that he had just narrowly escaped being hit himself. Todoroki then draws Hawthorne's attention to the figure standing before them, Peach Boy. Hawthorne is taken aback, wondering who this young boy could be. Todoroki makes a shocking revelation, announcing himself as the High Ogre, the nemesis of Peach Boy. Meanwhile, Carrot discovers that the notorious baddest trio has made their way into town, seeking out Peach Boy. In an attempt to protect their beloved hero, Hawthorne boldly decides to take on both Todoroki and Peach Boy. While on their quest, Mikoto stumbles upon Daminki, who is fast asleep. Overcome with fatigue, Mikoto too succumbs to slumber. With tensions running high, Todoroki becomes convinced that Hawthorne is, in fact, Peach Boy. As the battle rages on, Frau finds herself locked in combat with the formidable Basu, while Carrot engages in a fierce confrontation with Shinki. Meanwhile, Sally bravely faces off against Sumeragi, determined to protect her friends and loved ones. With the stakes at an all-time high, Carrot boldly confronts Basu, promising to defeat him and seek out Todoroki. Just as things seem to be at their bleakest, Winnie appears on the scene, blocking the killing blow and questioning whether or not Hawthorne is truly prepared to lay down his life. Episode 9 commences with a flashback to the past, where we are introduced to Hiko. While wandering in a village one day, Hiko encounters a talking dog, whom he generously feeds. The dog reveals that it deceives humans by pretending to be dead in exchange for food. Unfortunately, humans often see the dog as a sign of bad luck and attack it. Interestingly, Hiko admits that he too was fooled by the dog's ruse. Despite this, the two form a bond and agree to travel together, with the dog becoming Hiko's faithful companion. As the day progresses, they overhear some villagers discussing a nearby ogre that is known for devouring humans. As they arrive on the scene, they witness a horrific sight, a gigantic ogre munching on helpless humans. The loyal dog urges Hiko to flee, but his sense of duty compels him to confront the monster. Spotting a young boy about to become the ogre's next meal, Hiko grasps his sword tightly. Despite the dog's warning that sacrificing his life won't lead him to his parents, Hiko's determination intensifies, and his eyes turn blue as he charges towards the beast. With a swift and powerful strike, he slays the ogre in a single blow. The stunned citizens marvel at the rare sight of a human defeating an ogre. Hiko humbly acknowledges their cheers, but also declares that he cannot abandon the people of his village, even as he continues his quest to find his long-lost parents. As Hiko faces off against the ogre, the massive beast taunts him, incredulous that a mere human would dare defy him. Undeterred, Hiko demands that the ogre halt his destruction. In a fit of rage, the ogre swings a massive punch towards Hiko, but to his surprise, Hiko manages to block it with just his bare hand. The ogre is stunned as Hiko reveals his true identity as the legendary Peach Boy, slicing the ogre's name in half with a single strike. The citizens, amazed by Hiko's overwhelming power, can't help but wonder where such a mere human could have obtained such incredible strength. Rumors quickly spread throughout the village of Peach Boy's heroic actions, as he rises up to protect his people from their enemies, the orcs, ogres, and other beasts. The villagers who had suffered greatly from ogre attacks turned to Hiko for help whenever trouble arose. Without hesitation, Hiko took on the task of defending his people and began to slay the attacking ogres. This newfound duty made Hiko abandon his search for his parents and instead focus on protecting everyone around him. With his loyal dog by his side, Hiko embarked on a journey to end the battle once and for all by assassinating the ogre leader on their island. After an intense battle, Hiko pierces his blade into the heart of the ogre leader, who then accepts defeat. Admitting that Hiko had beaten him, the leader surrenders and promises to never trouble humans again. With the ogres gone, the land is finally free, and Hiko becomes the hero who saved the day. As fate would have it, Hiko meets a young boy named Mikoto, whom he helps when the villagers attempt to kill him because of his horn. From then on, Hiko and Mikoto become like father and son. Tragically, Hiko's life is cut short when he is killed by the god of laws, but in his dying moments, he passes on his sword, Peach Boy title, and armband to Mikoto, who becomes the new hero. With Hiko's teachings and guidance, Mikoto confronts and defeats the god of laws, starting his path as the savior of the land. What a great origin story. What will Mikoto do next? Find out on our next recap of Peach Boy Riverside.